So it is day 9, and today I'm gonna talk about the people that inspire me. And I know it's a bit shallow, but most of the people that I'm going to talk about are actually YouTubers. Because I guess I have no, in real life, I don't have too many people that I look up to. Not to say that the people around me are bad or anything. It's just maybe I haven't really had anything relatable to connect with most of the people around me. Anyway, so the first YouTuber that I maybe that inspired me, not really connect with me, but inspired me was the first one that actually imprinted the idea of even trying to start YouTube in the first place, which is Josh from SR4U. If you don't know Josh, he reviews football boots. And when I first got introduced to YouTube, it was actually through trying to find reviews of football boots. And Josh was one or maybe the only reviewer that I could actually relate with. And I guess why I wanted to start YouTube is all thanks to him, because he told a story once that while working for a retail store that sells football boots, he actually had the idea of starting his own YouTube channel just because he wanted an excuse to buy boots, test them out, and all that. And that's pretty much the same for me, because I started the channel initially because I wanted to own and test out almost every football boot, futsal shoe that I could. And I guess it spiraled from there. It spiraled from football boots into other aspects of my life, because I guess I am a hoarder. I like to hoard things as well. And first and but first and foremost, I'm curious. I'm curious of what certain pieces of wearables or items around me feel like. So, for example, football boots, how they would feel like to wear, basketball shoes, how they would feel like to perform in, and even in the tech side of things, how certain pieces of tech actually would be like actually owning and using them. And I guess Josh, for good or bad, influenced me to start my own YouTube channel after hearing his explanation of why he did it at first. So yeah, it's not only that I'm inspired by him. He is oh he why can't I speak today? Anyway, his resilience, even though he technically doesn't have the biggest channel out there or the biggest audience, to be fair, but his resilience of doing things almost the same way as he did things in the from his first video is very commendable to me. He's very relaxed. He speaks naturally, and I really like that. I like how he explains things in a very detailed way, but also in a very simple way, unlike I do most of the times. And in that same vein, the next YouTuber, I guess, or a duo that inspire me is Chris and Mrs. Wing from Wet Testers. Because almost. They seriously, almost the same reason why Josh inspired me, Chris inspired me on the basketball side of things. When I took basketball a bit more seriously and wanted to, or viewed basketball shoes as a more possible route for me to take to review them, because it's much more accessible to me compared to football and futsal, because first of all, I don't play football vigorously, even when I first started, or even when I really wanted to do so. Again, that was the excuse. Starting the channel was an excuse to actually play more football, but it didn't quite turn out that well, so I kind of dropped it. Even on the indoor football or futsal side of things, I played less the older I grew, and now I play more basketball. So that's why Chris actually inspired me to start reviewing basketball shoes instead. And apart from that, what's more important for me after seeing Chris is, again, how natural he does it. He talks honestly, he says what's in his mind about the shoes, he doesn't really sugarcoat it. And I guess as much as I want to do that, I still struggle with trying to sugarcoat some of my reviews. And for me, I don't, I know it's not a really bad thing, but I guess ethically it it doesn't make sense to me, because I feel like I'm lying when I try to sugarcoat it, and I just can't help myself. But Chris talks so naturally and does it so effortlessly, and of course when he talks to his wife, it all seems like a conversation to not only his wife but also to his audience. And I want to try and do that. I want to make this a conversation between us instead of me simply just regurgitating everything that I wrote, the script that I wrote. I want my I want my reviews, or I want the things that I talk about to flow naturally, as if I'm talking to a friend. So as if I'm talking to a human instead of a camera. And I just can't find, I guess, the sweet spot of doing that. I try to imagine like I'm talking to a friend or to my wife, but I just don't feel like it comes naturally to me now. I guess it comes with practice, obviously, but I want to improve in that aspect more in terms of my videos, because I still feel like a robot when talking to a camera. Anyway, that's what I really like about Chris and his wife, the way they do the conversations. It's really natural. It doesn't like, I know they have some sort of a script, maybe, but it doesn't seem like that. It seems like a natural flow of the conversation. And again, going to another channel, I guess now it's the Regulation Podcast. What used to be, or some of the crew from the Achievement Hunter days. Again, it's just them talking to each other in very natural ways, and that's what really inspires me and grabs most of the viewers' attention. That they can talk naturally to friends and maybe even talk to the audience naturally. I keep saying naturally. I guess it's because that's what I really want to do, right? That's what really, what I really want. and I can't really seem to talk today. I don't know why. And it's not like I talked perfectly before, but right now it's like I struggle to get the words, get the right words from my mind and out of my mouth. Anyway, so next, in terms of the tech side, I'm not gonna brush too much on these YouTubers, but they actually inspire me because I want to do more reviews. I want to share more of my experience tech-wise. So the likes of MKBHD, Marques Brown D, and Michael Fisher of Mr. Mobile, and even Kaiman Wong or Kai W um, from the camera side of things. It's not okay. I guess there is some sort of like I'm not gonna say envy. I'm not gonna say jealousy, but there is a curiosity that lies within like getting free stuff. But most of it is just like I love how they present their perspectives on the tech side of things. For example, Mr. Mobile, I'm not sure how to pronounce it as naturally as possible. Anyway, he doesn't just review the latest and greatest tech. He also reviews tech from yesteryear. And I like that about him. It shows that his passion doesn't only lies in talking about the latest tech, but also tech is his passion. Tech is his love. He loves his tech so much that he can remember the ones from yesteryear, the older tech and all that. And he shares all that information to us, maybe the people who haven't actually used that tech, maybe a generation that clearly hasn't used or hasn't even known those types of tech exist. And again, personally, even though I haven't used most of the phones that he reviews, it's like a piece of nostalgia to me, remembering back in those days. And I want to do exactly that as well, reviewing older tech, giving you guys my perspectives on older tech and how it compares to using it today compared to the tech that we have today as well. And I guess that's why I really look up to Michael Fisher, because he doesn't only talk about tech today, but he talks about the tech that matters to him, the what makes him passionate about tech. And speaking of passion, I also want to give shout outs to the photographers in YouTube, like George Holden, James Popsies. I'm sorry. I don't really know how to pronounce his full name. There's even Rainy Days, who goes on adventures with shooting film camera, shooting on film. But a person that has inspired me to actually think about cameras, think about photography in a way that has changed how I shoot is actually Sean Tucker. And I don't have too much to say when it comes to the philosophy side for now. But he has shown me that it doesn't matter what gear you use. What matters is your approach and your understanding of the gear you have. And that goes the same to Matthias Berling as well. Again, just like Michael Fisher, he features older cameras as well. And it shows me that we can still take great pictures no matter what gear we use. no matter when the gear was introduced, as long as we understand the gear itself, its capabilities, its limitations, then we can take great pictures regardless. And that's how the photographer community of YouTubers that I watch and I look up to have inspired me. They showed me that gear doesn't always matter. It's how you use it, how you implement them in your shoot that matters. And I guess the last YouTuber that inspires me is actually James Pumphrey, formerly of Donut Media. Because if you haven't noticed or if you don't know who he is, he used to host a YouTube channel called Donut Media, which primarily focuses on automotive stuff. Now he has his own channel and he's doing it his own way. And he doesn't, I guess he doesn't do it to please the algorithm, if I can say it like that. Because he doesn't have a niche. And that's what I want to do. I want to talk about anything that interests me. James is doing that. He's talked about cameras, he's talked about cars, he's talked about going on adventures, he's done challenges to improve himself. Almost anything that doesn't really connect to each other unless you really look for the fine details. And that's what I want to try and do with this channel. I want to talk about photography. I want to talk about tech. I want to talk about basketball. I want to talk about anything that interests me. It doesn't matter to me if I become popular, but I guess it does matter a bit that I want to earn a living talking about the things that interest me instead of pleasing the algorithm. And I know it's a way different situation compared to James because he has his following before and that following has followed him into his new journey. But for now, I just feel like I can do that as well with what I have now. I know working hard is a must, and I understand that it might not be as great as I would hope it to be, but I just want to challenge myself to do that. I know a lot of like YouTube gurus, quote unquote YouTube gurus, say that you should have a niche, you should do this, you should do that to get on the algorithm side. But at the end of the day, I want to do something my way. I want to succeed my way. I might implement some of that advice, but I just don't want to put myself in a box, so to say. And I guess that's all the YouTubers that inspire me. As for the real people, most of them are just like my closest family members. Of course, my parents, my in-laws, and my brothers, because they work so hard to get to where they are today. And I've seen firsthand that it hasn't always been smooth sailing, but they have the resilience to pursue something even though they've technically failed certain certain things in their lives. But now I see that they have succeeded. At least in my own eyes, I see that they they've made it. And for me personally, I wanna I wanna see at least a bit of success as well. I know that inspiration can only go on so long because what you do with that inspiration is actually what matters. And this year, I wanna use that inspiration not only as fuel for myself, but not sure where I'm going with this, but also as something to look out for. Yeah, I didn't really think that sentence true, to be honest. Anyway, so again, inspiration can only go so far, and hard work along with inspiration is one of the keys to success. So yeah, that's day 9.